Sonnet Writings. By Billy McBride. Copyright 2018, by William McBride. All rights reserved. Sonnet 1. Happiness rather deals the portrait I dread. As winter's tales rounded my time wherefore. Then the sad parts seek out for nothing more. A river of sky to fool my head. Hi, lily. Now subtract what could snare me here. Of everything, sighed helper, quick to come. Tough. This psychic had been off for some. What thinks my ethically blown up beer? A birthday to riff some lines. Wall light infinite, fresh as all. When none do much with a soul pace small. Streets feel for eyes, bone to rot in their signs. Brandy drinking good ladies of tide gaps. Are placed in the white where the sirens have traps. Angel Donna with me. Sonnet 2. The lasting starlight for the great now. Can't buy the world any peace atop a faded tree. Your only song, opposing God, must it be? Now weep, you came too young. You made us? How? First to leave you was a still crane. And a few more equals here, they will not last. And first to hear them draw, that day is past. Nothing concord. What? You made your wife complain. A human look for plenty roads. Right time to paint them white. Why colored so late the gray? It's not that bright. For the only blueness gentle, she unloads. Renews the divine, she counts Jove in. Rings the rose who rings their thoughts, begin. Angel Diana with me. Sonnet 3. A kiss of time is master over man. Rise me from my pot, my loving father. Time cheating is not measured by this bother. None may pick the time out from your elegant plan. Nicky True versed by the protest of my punch of the sky, how I'll question mark all. Forget-me-nows in their graves resting have to stall. As weather gusts by me, yonder, heaven-timed love. Under the sunshine shory destinations roll. There, not downwards kept, many a bridge shall find you. Angel-powered thou to have the pretty presents too. Treasure after treasure, check thou the whole. Rob a rose, or steal that horseshoe next. You're sweeter when you're guilty in this tearful context. Angel grouchy with me. Sonnet 4. Funny Leghorn and his ballad in a store. Yell-a-thon at nature, thin for life. You blow it all a Roman's pretty rotten as if deep dreams could step your notes up for more. More art would come in the sunshined wine. I'm unsure that a master is the greatest fool. A happy tapper checked, this morning is cool. The gold's out for nights out, Mary, that's a line. None can dream better in tearful blushes. Becky Dally to be doctor, all our riches. Guide us to the end, the outside itches. David overcame, Cupid's fire rushes. We are fond lovers all, and all who love live. With those little stingers will for every enemy give. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 5. The smoky monster breath of the roads. Tears for tears are shut, the dark did win. The pass down light for eyes, Ariel a fin. Heaven is innocent wisely shading its loads. The quest for twain, forever brought to big. But forgotten, sent back when what this ship leaves. The way to the brightness, and what the sky heaves. With its rapid rain, is our end to dig. See the likeness of our imitations given. Help comes to a war as a water it yields. A belly full, dreams, nicks and fields. Weep for gifts, for a daring trust is driven. Broken over years, that bridge to tower. Shines lonely sad this matter in its shower. Angel ora Tiferito with me. Sonnet 6. Atheism blackout, force a tortoise down. Breaker. Breaker. Ever 1 pounds. As the storm leaves between silver grounds. Its Indian thunder to the furious town. All boredoms unleashed, the flood must rush. Towards a sad body, the exhibition hit. But leaping for rum sinks a soul for it. And Johnny's throat shatters spaces from that gush. So heaven's spending all for Martin, nothing for hell. This sighing springs never in its troop on time. 'Tis good to bother paradise which, catching up for climb. Has boned within a kingdom's wipe-out bell. Reason's clue what pain becomes to you, and how. To learn why God and all his best dwarf thou. Angel Ariel with me. Sonnet 7. Miss Texas had a bad lamp sunk in more. The very ruins above were of a turbid moon. Were reasons for a ghost to breathe soon. To pawn in power back into a blueness on her floor. A sunken something thereabouts, the Chinese corn. The far-off baddest statement of your need. To be a good looker dying sound and weed. Or to think you're cursed by a peaceful robot's horn. A ruin of Agamemnon's in his milky rise. A sweet bunny and your mother are displeasing. A moon, bene vova, for the loaves and locks easing. To squish a pimp, oh how the sun displeases skies. As Pierre's own sight has been for those bad sirens. To know the pair of TV Mans, or Byrons. Angel Ariel with me. Sonnet 8. Your cocaine family hears the storm unfold. A rain bend to proofread the drops. Claudius, child of the ancient crane flops. Its ancient wings going off sold. Water mist, finally little of an ending. Bothers the ladies of the clouded west. Answer music, hell's locked to the rest. Siren arranger, the hilly side bending. A night, body, rant, and smoke. Wise or divine a wall hangs. On dry days the pipe king's gangs. Falling sup of the day's potty bloke. The fiery feats, the swift-footed crane. And lovely ceramics charge the bend and gain. Angel Kelly with me. Sonnet 9. Book bullies, bullies bending acorn trees. The rat war for some wisdom or some time. With lonely books we'll either to our happiness climb. Or we'll stay teenaged owned by those longer seas. The free will police can't help but roar it now. With miracles of noise of sleepy stars. As water or the trees do fall, or even sugar bars. These shaken up seas go primeval, how? The CEO of atoms with no happy pleasures. Nor his best feelings to kiss a letter. Won't fish us out or ship our way for better. Who only spends his love for bedroom treasures. So Eden's champs revive that other sorrow. Why won't they yield to praise what clothes we borrow? Angel Penelope with me. Sonnet 10. Laid back, side effects, your lasting birth. Are what you drift, child, over icy yards. Main are the monsters, brain farthings, and chards. Who'll save plenty from your summer work on earth? A stiff one pull to wander any place. True wonder into piecemeal places go. The head out taller paradise, commit and know. It's common as a tree or wearing lace. In the daydreaming Wi-Fi, your starry fatherhood. What's about it is to pass it by the child. The children sigh, they cry and sigh, are wild. But you drift out your smile since the milking fee is good. And with that clouded fee for all of them, your food, it ships. You'll proofread in the wisdom of some lady's strong hips. Angel Grouchy with me. Sonnet 11. Hammered forever Jove breathes on. His secret deals soon polo balls annihilate. Of a war day only free for light to dilate. Then reality is ruined on a shepherd-dealt lawn. In priestly thunders, these, as Batman bongos. Hundreds of remarks read for heaven's own sake. The truth troll gives 1 hours of an ache. Knowledge, adieu, came clustered, then wrong goes. As the calf once cast by anonymous men. Off Yankee Mountain from their manly wine. Of cherry, Mars about the water was not fine. Drake looky at how much he wanted then. Of gold remuneration, or of days so free. That their odors were lost sunken in the sea. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 12. The misters decree it time to sleep. The ladies light the world or afterworld. Say wonders are opposed in whispers hurled. And stop a maid, her pawn from falling, keep out of it only, lend it to a hymn. The meaning of the wave's own friendly lap. Eyelashes tell ya, window woman chap. That island sleeves and veggie shadows dim. Celestial teachers, everything's everything. Red berries for a weekend not so long. Going through the curtains, the sandy day's wrong. Abhor combat but regain the ending bang. Do tan a milky paradise's sheen. A marbled lady, 1 and 17. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 13. The dying currents circled in the branch. A wheel of hope for this older barn. To item fields in afternoons of yarn. Truth knaves have a childish point to blanch. The power of the threshold drops in winter fall. Fiddlesticks, Penelope, you draw them each day. and name some items in dear heaven's way. To cheek the picture of the oldest poem of all. The darkness builds on China and on weeds. And the year's list is that very lot we smell. Pale hell displeasing you and your camel. So change the music. Your night's body's needs. A stare of love to make it even sweeter. A crucial bridge, a moony yard to meet her. Angel Diana with me. Sonnet 14. You presumed a stall for Stephen's candle. 'Twas known throughout your hilly red city. Its thresholds bothered boughs in March. 'Tis pity. As universal fire, its end to handle. As those who fear the young who charge their quest. Where to their pearly towers armies slow. Who crutch it for the days when music's glow. And parents charged a glassy tower's best. Now moving hands to beach again the storms. Of grassy burials, a darling's sigh. For space for flowers, feelings, star, and sky. Is buttered thin, Achilles' spot still warms. Time thereabouts of universal hours. Bothers thereabouts surrounding flowers. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 15. Soon the afternoon rewombs its monument. It says so again to be heavenly afterwards. And the wind for a few unheard cached the birds. And handed me the fee and to the brook's leaves went. Where the red drake of a dealt-out glory is milking it within his rich life. Here are cookies more. Sounds separate from strife. The landlocks come out clustered in this story. Those borrowed perfections are only of a child's. The scholar of yesterday's a marbled being. With wishful breasts to speak of what he's seeing. To mirror these worldwide pathways wilds. Of sea zones, the paths for the flower and the buzz. Where the grossed cats will flaunt in the day's own fuzz. Angel Ariel with me. Sonnet 16. Fall into the hole and into the red monument. And be fit with the hope that you're most free to dream. As those with hearts who for loving nights traditions seem. To leave out nobody shaking up what truths have in being sent. On a private day which shows up as a ballad. As the water going onwards will torment us to know. This healing part where its grassy verses show. Where a few who will protest still find more for salad. Towers are these visions off a candle's own head. The way is to nothing as word after word. Brings time to know if, in the sad depths, are heard. And if the visions together will gap the present lead. While I think about the crane and suffice it to watch. In the course of the air how its blackened sail must catch. Angel Grouchy with me. Sonnet 17. At this flat paradise, the sunset has its limit. Of my election or, the morning's retreat lurks. The deadline has healed with extreme fireworks. Noble love does not kill the phenomenon but does dim it. The birth of summer's hyperbolic ruler. Must be relieved by a quote which ends in sarcasm. That irrational echo, a maturation nay to a spasm. Of the cuts by the poet Astor, a stumpy pile fooler. The center of consciousness is a school's trick. Which must negotiate ambition, slavery, or heaven. To frame its selfishness, a practice husband given. The location of Cupid, but crucial piggy-wiggy's sick. A mariner's swallowed, the springtime North American rock. Waits through that lecture with an extraordinary lock. Angel Libby with me. Sonnet 18. The Gothic switched midnight waitress. Who withered the haystacks to invent a pile. Almost could touch Eden. The river journey's worthwhile. The blank suns and adolescent clouds fortress. The sunset's feast has isolated Apollo. In his school's apocalypse for our crescent dreams. The blunt prodigy to this coronate minute seems. To crush innocently its anxiety in a dusk's glow. Spirits tingle with spontaneous footsteps. The holy murmured news of another party. Of more harsh sunshine, spirals and the landscape's hardy. Supervise a healing as your luck everywhere ships. Elderly, without a hitch, loaned by a daydream. The silent partner cries realistically to beam. Angel Amy with me. Sonnet 19. The ship in the hurricane with the objects goes on. When it comes home whirling like assembly line bars. And it singles out my birthday stealing some time and cars. An unknown card from Earth's strange land and lawn. Who allows for rejection? Who turns down the fields? And passes up a cocktail? For what this pirate owns. This planet of continents, nameless lands on loans. She'll return to harvest what our blank population yields. And with unidentified license, our veiled vote. This thief's appointment is taken up by the bard. Such to keep my eye patch on, for a world, dreaming hard. Myself to govern my face, and on her hidden promise shall dote. When I'll stay on the pastures as her foe. With many helpers in anonymous masks who invite her to know. Angel Marian with me. Sonnet 20. The teddy bear, a lush loved one's heart. She bared her teeth, nothing but an alligator smiled. My daughter plays, no rough stoic child. My Gnostic hug for a prince's life's part. The evergreen world, cool and mild of age. And soft and stuffed, transcends the grass and all. And suffers the crown, the endless greens fall. My tending towards happiness, keen Hamlet's wage. The wisdom of a farmer's ever fresh, immortal mind. A Jacob blessed, a salad to heaven to bring. May it be delicious to earn that Merkaba of paradise, spring. A sharp misanthrope if life and work are not kind. By ruling the harvest sweet infinity to the end. In Eden long-lasting, soft and stuffed will blend. Angel Diana with me. Sonnet 21. Then return sunrise back with much divine. From the start of the noon to shine, a long-lost joy flies. From rising up from the oppressive repression to endure the prize. And a thick morning, look at it slide up the line. Oh, test the soup, and from a past masterpiece, shine. What heap of wind is for a happy blessed friend. Him who has lights upon our doubt, with priceless toys to lend. Whom with those high flares, as if the performance earned could be mine. But over early haystacks, a time of worth shall arise. Who questioned the dawn was a friend on a hard day. Nor doing it today would if forever's expanse must stay. For the sun after darkness is a value for tomorrow's skies. In the final watch, to recognize all that care. And examine the rose, and, into total childhood, bring repair. Angel Diana with me. Sonnet 22. And if that burst of sunlight happens again. For another day counted and tried. And if fistfuls of ideas can at all decide. If this year's splash will be in vain. Then the party's tally ever will be moved. From a birthday screaming of voices. And then always working on more choices. With the coming sleep I shall be approved. Of the way through a birth, and I will be sent. A restful time, there, in the end. Those invited hugs, which also around me extend. Shall be from my hands with the noisy intent. And the thought that rocks me around. Will be like that mark of the sun profound. Angel Amy with me. Sonnet 23. Such there are new plans to name. My final splendors and invade. The pond, the stalks and the shade. And look with the wool myself to aim. There with rocking steps to make my flight. On a quest for a meaning to bring. That out of the last trembling string. This idea to be spread as light. And with charity like it to recall much more. Thus to sway, to dance, and to flow. Over the spring's hedge to go. So in a selfless motion I might explore. Such to exchange ripples for my way. In the lakes of this year where I stay. Angel Yaffa with me. Sonnet 24. The winds must blow in darkness here. The land and thee cannot unite. The roughness cools so that the light. And seas but shining might appear. So all the times foreshadowed fear. To come not ever paining minds. As old ones all need bettered finds. Now sit, now miss that no one's near. All space and place which winds go past. The earth has known the way to go. On future keeps and holds still low. That dimming sun for us is cast. No thunders note, no days remain. No nights because this quest is pain. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 25. Arabian twinkling twilight and the supporting spoon. The grand of light that is a heavenly blade. For the sea cottages, the cloud-white garden's shade. Are just a tongue's distance from the mute devil's moon. Holly toesies is the weapon. Dress up, exercise, rest. A familiar barbecuing with a sandwich to leave. Its sting outside I crash and scramble to believe. And slap a hanger outdoors to humiliate my best. Clogged or sedated, the ladybug dies to die. At the peak's brim to shed another swear. I wander in slippers prematurely tighter. Midnight pens wonder how to mark, and tempests fly. In labors of an actress and the target of a heat. Pluto hides a playboy from his mother's own feet. Angel Teresa with me. Sonnet 26. A breezy treatment is for my head's own success. The crayon is clear, and a child's play comes first. Heaven's own debt must charge me with absurdities of thirst. Enough of obligation? I'm at peace that game is not less. I'm persuasion's own slave, and my broken up fun. At marine intervals is had in a sonic choppiness. I greet a rose royally pricked with my happiness. Apples in pairs, and a series of problems with the sun. In a dinner arranged for this pruny king. And with the longer dramas of my cellular squeeze. In omniscient rest, the elected kick back with ease. And woo to pass the fine print to test out nihilism's wing. That scholar of a whale-wearing power has the answer. That the electricity's over for a busy soothsaying dancer. Angel Jaffa with me. Sonnet 27. Ban ban, the snake has been knocked down by a stone. And I see yad our elite, and the cataract slides off. This dodge provokes the cheers of my present time scoff. And entertains its exit, but no apocalyptic beats are known. Not passing for a firstborn, but I sit down with heathen gander. Who swear of a hubbub in the swear words of love. Shoot 21 anonymous yells from above. What the upstate or the country gal is solving, pregnancy's commander. And in a helmet sleeps all my hair soupy do. And I'll edit a putty sequence to chant amen. That the soup is safe from honeymooning nakedness then. For all is in an option ripping out of Lupigu. Now clears up my gothic headache, and I, nourished by its loss. Have my soupy winning smoothie that a wise man did toss. Angel Jaffa with me. Sonnet 28. The cosmically banished beams draw out my act. I'll brim the bower native for its sectional beauty. To cover up the acorn developed by that blonde duty. To discover what climaxes champion the paradox it lacked. By the hidden illustrations scribbled elliptically. That cine mission is my pastoral roadster. On Sabbath trails I ring its celebratory odes, sir. I'll parent these good guys or start over sarcastically. These desserts of January make up for a toddler's own food. A slippery goodness stalling sticky pop cans. Contemporary polls should have threatened my fans. And rising padded dawn shall squirt my gutter to be rude. But with scorching bass, presto. I'll wake up the gents. To finish fixing any flaming out intelligence. Angel Peruk with me. Sonnet 29. Attend insomnia, the South has overtonk. Its bubble contest, poverty, in wholesomeness failed. In constant dumps of ignorance, the storm hens jailed. Who swears to save her sleep in safer drunkenness, honk. And I'm collecting X amounts of exotic desserts. Gospel, goodbye, I'll keep them to my fate. This backup slamming coaster has been guarding me of late. For the handy sessions of these dinner dreams one asserts. This slowest clown jumps on his tart to seem a king. And let's go definitions, if they're false, he forgets till true. I'll hang bird feeders spying them when nothing else will do. What nice continuance that these nursery games bring. Torrential crabby side splitters, tell them or them learn. We pair up victors marry those who must return. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 30. My belly has a motor for some vodka after school. Wow, that's emotional, a bad weather thrives. The apocalypse is clearing, morning clarity, and lives. My sabbatical wish must drive me ending up with a drool. Nourished by the flags, my family is forever. The gospel of shade presents an extra spot. Where dollars are cut, and that tropic salvation I had got. And the fruit I resisted, and each idle grass lever. I'm to video our Dumbo or Impossible Jack. Alzheimer's continuing to whirl, my touche to install. When I spot my praise for the abundance of it all. Of that boldest neon in the morning's arresting stack. By romance answered, a Virgo approves the mystique. All reduces to a beauty on my shift to critique. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 31. I'll ignore my veggies but an applesauce include. And return to a blowout pulling on whatever hangs. A coupling to do in second marriages with gangs. And drink up my pear juice with merry health to some dude. To express in a child's fib a slapstick cartoon. To learn from a prince or a tyrant's booty nation. Or a comfortable bed and a clean vibration. or a picnic to celebrate with Hawaiian friends soon. Downtown, outside, a captive me, driven all to shout. Till a foggy dumped impossible weather is cleared. I stomp for a bill when the dwarf march neared. And rush not to be humiliated as I take my master out. The Coast Guard has returned, and the present evening's awe is considerable to weave now when matured by the law. Angel Kabbalah with me. Sonnet 32. The applesauce and heavenly Mercury lead the wrecked. I battle that highway resenting clipping off petty. As all call, I'll finish in variety. And whirl my actor round with the courage to direct. I'll paint with lusty courage as I lead my knaves. To the country translated in Caribbean metaphor. To improve my waltz in reflecting parties before. The crowd of sightseers echo in the waves. I'm honest in the afterlife speeding me forever. Or I'll wake up wholesome and then go to school. Wrecked in the warming scale of the thunderbolt's cool. The Eros of the hurricane is love-locked? Never. And children of genius sleep, and Jack is witty. And a cutie pie is exiled to her pasta city. Angel Yaffa with me. Sonnet 33. Walking the abundance now, a series ticks. The king of birds shall make his dirge. Acute heavens pierced by starvation's urge. That vain carpenter has made a dam for sticks. To visit every man with a splendid shalom rock. Forgetfulness sucks and the hermit is not gardening. The yellow evening must inform with twinkling. Then you'll kiss a wizard who's as good as Sherlock. To pay or not to pay it in the quiet happy hour. A Scorpio's money, for Shylock is rich but not nice. The overcasts in tones but there's news of a paradise. That whining pirate's gloomy badass power. For ambrosial experiences you'll buy cherries and honeys. To the immediate squeakings of ragtime harmonies. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 34. Hurry up actor, kill the hour with a shower. Beat up that misanthrope in Alison's gospel. With Caribbean cheer, a sick surfer fell. In good dressings of the autumn's epic power. Crash into a heartburn and wash when sick. The dazzling green, and nurture your credit card. The choppy notes of a squeaky masterpiece yard. A different yard, which is the whole yardstick. Run through paradise with relief safe at last. A sweet reading by a fan. Tap out the period, and rake the 10. Learn to cut it off when midnight is past. Extensions are the props for a keep-out fence. The ocean top tugs down the ladies and gents. Angel Penelope with me. Sonnet 35. I'm rarely abused by the bar warrior's pride. Those beach bum bodybuilders measure my action. To ascend this spot is sort of a motto with traction. On a bike trip to 40 planets I ride. In grey autumn the sun waits to sink. The light looks out, or the candelabra collects its trail. On a country wheelbarrow, the marathon to scale. My sanity is shattered with enough to drink. Watching for a warning on a date night television. Woken by a nurse, a devoted nurse crying. For the old flag to prize the flag flying. A sonnet of twigs fences off the bear's incision. A shaky operation of orange joys to call it. Presented by a doorbell, and intimidated by a wallet. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 36. An unbelievably mobile airball basketball. A convenient big bang and hoops hijacked. A door collects the constant air conditioning lacked. With attention to a future profits nonsense for all. My exam must credit an innocent imagination. But omniscient thieves I'll continue to deter. A courteous taxi and cops pull up, sir. I aced the cake, slithering richness in the station. To pine, no way, for what a demolition has dumped. I'll drop the hedge or a tedious dress. A sorry mob of existential daisies, I guess. My mottos lie decided in their victories lumped. Midnight is monopoly, a tomb shall make. Yet my humble laughter has a vinyl wake. Angel Yaffa with me. Sonnet 37. In the arresting autumn I rake the grass. A paradise is blown, so I pick my grade. The Hawaiian cheer is a sleepy cheer made. In a childlike beauty, the limbs of bodybuilders pass. I'm lucky to access a sleepover story. With luck and greatness of brilliant warriors. They are killed not in duty, ambushed by toy soldiers. But a squeaky rage comes from my siblings' history. At the happy bakery, coffee's poured out next. the lush symbol of confusing mornings yet. Rendezvous of hearts in the rhythms of sweat. As explicit as spies for their gospel of sex. The wisdom must stop flooding tops of the bounds. An exit to some potty for the resting of wounds. Angel aura with me. Sonnet 38. The contestants relax, congratulations to Anonymous. Every beach expert is some sunbathing animal. Genesis is past, and with our little cosmos of mail. The mailman is done, so drop a line for us. Hiding unawake we shall bear to be still. Years with our lovers are best in history's loins. Congregations of readers have tithe coins. The lights come to the Rubicon's dark beach fill. Those who pretend to be abandoned are tough to rescue. The blacksmith's best stopwatch is a broken thing. Like the shattering judgments from some cute gossiping. Every original shout is bothered by the donations too. A breakfast patty, and a soda mess to see. An inevitable harvest going down transparently. Angel Penelope with me. Sonnet 39. A well-answered question for the age's truth shift. Must listen to its fame, its past belonging there. To continue to know how generations of the future clear. In sprouting or falling, if all drop, or if all lift. An earthbound land or a thriving suburban place. Where the origin of a father whose weepy hug. When you're growing up naked, pushes a gift tug. As that multiplying sunshine cannot disappoint this place. But the wrong and blind way, wheezy stalking. A rip-off of hell wrecked by curses to fall. Eternal life's bliss neglected if cursed by all. It is intimidating to be born a healthy mortal thing. Yet, the old facts are of the men and women of lucky ease. Who shall visit those mansions of wild possibilities? Angel Shea with me. Sonnet 40. In cityscapes, these need a roomy core. We centered ever thinking of the main. To beaches never of the weather plain. But better dry, not at the water's shore. We went and kept to innocence, we say. For others' losses, our own loss displayed. A lost expression by our pains surveyed. A wound by gloom which hardly goes away. To stay put with a knowledge which could flow. Again from lectures how I missed that view. In glances all, despite what else I do. A good attempt soon grows with hopeful glow. And sunshine which I knew alone comes down. And soon descending warms a friendly town. Angel grouchy with me. Sonnet 41. What is it still with heaven's golden gate? You find it in the present or the past. Of time before, a thing I wish would last. By love for what the author needs to state. A love evoked, what made existence bright. A shining heart that intellect should see. To know as well a vision of that tree. You climbed when on a walkable good night. What was a possibility stayed strong. Of your home, else I took it to be mine. A seen mistake that there would be a line. All written out of going back along. This page, a pathway of so many words. All sounding calls of many colored birds. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 42. To help me, with the time, divide and play. I shall, or you shall sit down with these words. As if their measures could retrieve some birds. I'll read, or warmer for a wiser day. I'll use a book to keep them very high. Though knowing I am found this late in time. Or not yet now, then no more words shall rhyme. A child, I was a young and messy guy. A boy who received by that shift to know. A helpful wisdom by our newer care. To help us read since many clues are there. Again we'll still to friendly battles go. And though the miracle is not desired. By us will stint some critic when she's tired. Angel Amy with me. Sonnet 43. The drained horizon fills us with a sunset. Lays down our narrative to set up a highway. A husky-voiced nurse keeps me in paradise. Ariel, Democrat, Lady, and Angel. Not in vain I look for only a butterfly. Above the turnip foundation, no knave the gardener. The inevitable grey allows for rain. Eve had a hearing aid, that barefoot comic. In the ragged notes of old annihilated books. I name my dish, I nibble, chip away. The pop-up sundial receives the dawn. And an aging soothsayer denies the mermaid. Judges a fried egg, or the unwanted mascara. Which, swept in impatience, seeks to weten with her cheeks. Angel Ariel with me. Sonnet 44. That is the end of a dead day. On the proud web, cut off by a cyclops. The rotten enemy, as hated as Demogorgon. A devil who would swallow up the hellbound art. Yet, with a brain which cares, buried in the ear, will pity those who are doomed, being harmed by the light. Who weep in prison in a cloud, in their handkerchiefs. At their one horror of the worst fire. Stupid Absalom, insulted in time. Falling to his knees, deposed the same. The road to genius is a matter of glory. With these angels from the dust of a garden frontier. Who indeed must be thankful that they are not accused of perjury. By the brown bell upon our wedding outlet. Angel Teresa with me. Sonnet 45. Scorpions sought us but dashed not. As the petty sun's redness and blindness. Somebody's son's blood, whose beams had daggered. A soldier dead, who deserves a trumpet. Who floats at last between what is between. And into the hands of nothingness has fallen in a battle. Which gave him to the weeds in a hairy wilderness. When at his eternal monument, I lost my question. Why should I not be hated for taking the sugar? Which was only stolen for him to love me. What this fool did was to have been evilly committed. More than all, to my life. The he of my child's dream. Which has been broken by that wit of him. Who smelled out my rarities. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 46. To this house here and to all of the ground. You give in to whispering and whine to your dear. You flash your message downward to land. And care to breathe more divine than the weed. The grass lives, and it cries for the flowers. For the roses I lost in my strong arms. We learn to beam out to the street, to the world. To project the oracle to King A. The birds know of a mythology of horses. But progressively God has the masterful step. For the muse finds me, and God is with us. When we pass by the skeletons of harrowing things. Hope has the power, and a trout relents. And the babe makes out the names of things. Angel Shnuna with me. Sonnet 47. I knew that door to another desire. For genius can tell we are brighter together. Once in the garden we caught our way out. And found the tomb and stood in reverence. A beloved son, and great child. The happiness from the light going forth beyond despair. The verse of the vine did start as a child. And robbed contemplation from the trench of time. A soul is set to pay the fine. With a mockingbird's feather, I wrote my lover. I dreamt of a fire in the form of wrath. Astride in the night to fall in heaves. The eyes of March from the pent-up sky. Read immortal of hunters who passed us by. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 48. I am not better to gain a subject. And you look to yours while the rest decay. All a father, hopping over to be read. While others share their losses and show their hurt. It seems the birds say for us to keep hoping. And there is room and rum and rest after the walk. The rotten talk against this our greatness. There is a window fan for a normal head. A holy ring your child grasps. Though some have contempt for his love, like Iago who stars. Or every Malvolio, or whom Socrates catches. Do their victims like to fall or be buried? No. If they are here, they will forget the cave. With its emptiness and weariness in their own deeds still. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 49. Who else is whipped when forgetting to protest? The wings of a crane have a mighty sailing. Yours is necessary, we speak of payment. Every blindness is deeper than the skin. Willful scholar of the young world. And all that's best for a lady and her life. Love and wit and the finding of the sea. What might Hamlet do to the souls among us? Crossing in the light which is done in the autumn? A hero and a lady, and, I, the crane. It is in the light of Freud to love beyond the wall. Which knows how to sail or none will read. These verses before you, the song of a mind. Of father, who is well, and the sky is yours. Angel Ariel with me. Sonnet 50. The lady in the wind must read this winter. The time of the day is here, more than the grass. To know the time, which once was a rarity. Even the sun helps those who are born blind. The final truth is to milk the imagination. Yes, it is aesthetic, this one ache. When I come to the pines with my notes of the heart. To write when falling for what a lady means. Her truthful when having detected my blindness. In a web of questions is a brown feather. The winter light has a sunny reality. as the autumn light did at the old window. Those months we love which woke up first, dropping to January with the sweetest joy. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 51. On a path I know, there are apples in the air. But I, given to pain and the ailing cloud, stand by the feeling for every or any happiness. I hear the nightingale there and trust that babe, the earth has lit Dracula's monument, by the dark fires of her star children, who stain its side, primeval spirits, with an ironic air in a time to be seen. And from the intellectual death unto majestic eternity, the birth of the empire has had a fishy note. The starry ride of the weather patterns, whose theatre wounds me this very morning. An old life, beautifully mine, when the celestial is present with her motherly heart. Angel Teresa with me. Sonnet 52. All is imperfect, the birth of a dirge, the catastrophe of leaves condemned in time, by the capital deception from more tears. To cover them up, they are now sweet lips at the end, a taste for peace. For peace and hope in the world of the fish. The time had been then where the winds of love, blind with hope from a book or a cave, among the beauty marching through the air. Father's trees thrust to America, find the light at the Pharaoh's window, where a soul is born, a healthy butterfly, in the light of the sun, but nothing is American about it. The lady had to have more than some slowness of subjection. Angel Amy with me. Sonnet 53. When the stride of thought controls your hands, over the harp for a song the world knows, once protested, you find it dripping. To know the self compounded by seeking, the trust it forgot, the hobgoblin of the sky, and that fellow by the tree are for thou, how? You will leave the leaves where they are, more rare than all. A human fabric through the swagger of weathers, where the foolish one, a man or soul, reads from a book the tale of the hour. The light blasts and the scholar is overcome. For peace, hey, or will be acquainted with the whip, that rift against the ethical time for peace. Missing the drum, a star in the blackness. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 54. The eye is dark but the sky is light. But worse is the light if all is forgotten. Its whiteness, done, pours out a little. Why? It fathers the lovely island, which comes out in the fall, no more rounded, as art comes. Yet, some are against giving anything to know the heart, time's region. A time for conversation in the art of the shade, which, under a perfect sky or woeful night, still blinds my lady's unfortunate life. Yet, what the mind of night has beautifully done, is to star the way, that mind is enough. If the sadness is over, and these sleepy woods fill for a few dividing us from their deepness. Angel Donna with me. Sonnet 55. If you can read the essence of this epitaph, then question it over your days for a few new memories, to resolve what it is to hate standing mist in the battle between rock and leaf. It is now dark, and a miraculous song, as vital as the child who forgot your name, has come to life lifted from the brunt of what was so white which lead you through time. You serve the night's truth until it is done, burnt on the side where this darkness finally leaves you to think over it all, of the kingdom's core and the sounds of the river, and the light in its bosom living here, and coming to live here, ever giving out. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 56. What you take from time in the wooded dark, is a bravery for thou, for you are no knave of the grass, and you won't cover up, like most men do, your heart's clue, daring to bury it not, but crossing its beauty. Now it is day which still continues, with its tales of certainty as you see bear, through its one ride to your scholastic ramparts, and unto night's own beauty which is yet so deep. Your words are dearer than the blare of men, who, by the whole, are most unfortunate. Perhaps being young is better, but with the genius of peace, you hear and connect, milking the hope, which you let not shut to love me and love not them. Angel Kelly with me. Sonnet 57. What do birds hope after they are wounded? Yes, in the arms of the night upon the day's annihilation? Father is home set in the hour of the sweet sky by the actions of stars, painfully on time for our impossible fortunes, to wake the beauty so remarkable not to be ignored. His soul is wandering beyond the patterns of time, to that eternal hill and to those shining bells of his joyous dream. Farewell flesh, and procreation and wittiness, much you were a blessing in the speckled present where the body did seem itself. For love has come to the agony of its destination, in the white of the noontime rolling with the lights, which eternally wander across the fiery heavens. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 58. For a piece of anything, alas, it is too late to be young. The news on the rooftop for every father I know, and for every other fellow are the words accompany minds. For those bites of sleep, we sought out, or the way through the air to find our prizes, while the poor watch over the miraculous feast. There is a city where I am, Jason Brown, a crockin on his way through its majesty. This red handkerchief, I know, is lighter than the lightness from my mediocre pains, done in America, in its wooded world. But to tomorrow's poverty, a Chanticleer still gives himself to be at our side again where we'll stand together, on some hills and have some hope for the better. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 59. It pays to see what is at the end of a leaf, stained with the water, final scholar. Where heaven cannot be, there is now music, and the flame of a name in that celestial web. In a night of delight a spirit comes over, a sphinx shows up, who goes to stain the poor empire out of my own. I envy my dead apple's core, the memories of those colors, once Joan's own wish, the light of the Lord and the light of the soul, whose turn is done only when its message must end the merriment with some truth that Helen has, early enough in the piece this night, fired up with another, and soon shall pervade with the worms. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 60. Words have more height in a time of loneliness, at day by the sea or the woods where, I know, floods a peace from those men of light, far to the sides which function as their root. Buttercups in the grove, a house of arms. The redness forth and the tunes of trees widen with the tide of a sleepy tomorrow. And I have paid a little to be with father's cedars. We children of Odysseus have a faith throughout this diverging night left to our sickness, the philosophy of worms, and some wild acres, and a child's face and her boundless rights. I will cut the grass on the mountain tomorrow, and journey through its hair of whispering pines. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 61. Whatever is done because of love, high above the town, is good for good, and our words are in their days. But, in spite of knowing of our household vanities, a true happiness is falling of old, with the steps from our labors and their newer pains. The women of the time are only as lovely as your own eyes, greatest of all, which stand the lust of the verses of old, upon your wandering quest to sail with joy. Because your scholarly pains became lighter bound, the world's trove has been through another youthful night, and heats your thoughts beyond abysmal skies, to the bloom and to God, the God of your father. Angel grouchy with me. Sonnet 62. What sessions have gone forth from soul to soul. The brunt of the notes are beautiful, though we can stand for more, together with all more souls from out the ice of some other wood, will merit what is bought today, and that something finally will seem right to lift us up. Note how the peace of the daytime blasts, how the life around these trees after wordy nights seems against being so beautiful. At the window is the truth, here, in its dark arms, philosophizing, and seeking to outweed the spent soul of a beautiful dawn as young as hope itself, and with all the spiritual loss of its patience to be sure, its virtuous society still seems ethical enough. Angel Amy with me. Sonnet 63. You can name the way for everything you do, and Uriel himself, or I, with a lick of my own, may still question your imagination, or time's abyss will you, on your patient horse give color to it. And Walt, who is in the reeds seeking peace, from the souls of the sky and from the day's own revenge, will have none of that woe during this merry dawn, this icy winter, which will protest or else live with and play on a new hillside, as Freud could have done, or Homer, speak muse of their company throughout this war of my hopes, of my going through the green, in the thick of the day, writing to read my best, to think my best, to read the sky in its strong society. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 64. This loved morning benefits by the success, which has nothing to give, which is as close to me or as strong as the life of the poetry of which I am thinking, which sings for the dead of the dawn breaking out, effacing the night here above our homes, over which it stood. There is our God's own, to whom I shall give a minute, heating off the clouds, in his kingdom for a shine finally to be dared once more. We fools have been right before, my brother and sister, with woven hair, and both in their host's heart, which none can blast like these candles to blow out, chiding the light after much has blared forth. For as it is Jude's own birthday, her very eyes lie upon none other than all of us who stand in her bliss. Angel Lisbeth with me. Sonnet 65. The people and you know the crew, white and black, those with boundless hope. For these winds, to hear them go would be good. Daffodils in the woods are my romantic hopes. To celebrate the world, it needs a mountain, where up there a bird with open wings could reverse the badness by the loss of prejudice. We need more time with our benefits divine, the sky's gap and the wind in the leaves, and my great son who is a man, praying at a monument or striving with the crowd, a sleepy fellow over his crimson ale, on his slave horse, a lad of the world. He has no strife with the light which ends in wind. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 66. I love the heart's jollity which keeps falling for the vain world with parting prayers, walking through the dreams of death-blown farewells. Happiness goes to the side shanks of our imaginations, the only birds tomorrow round the hour of the heart, riding the sky, the dark candled soul. The tales of our lower years are keys enough to have pleasure in the lilies with new brown birds. A gentleman comes bringing life's pleasures over long hopeful days given up on the youth. His soul, caught in its greatness, the peaceful stars, faithful to his lady's eye whose stillness is enough. Their thoughts capitalize together, colorful clues. A mountain, a silent way and nothing else on its high hill. Angel Donna with me. Sonnet 67. The beauty of hope is as thick as the individual sky, as individual as a great man, or question, the envy of time. I think to follow in its gain, my need for life is thus to give battle with my memories, their fruits which stopped before my back surgery pained me at my age. But this country's beauty will not stop, it is old but different. In real time, it is old, and as pleasant enough as a book of folly tapping into those miracles for which we play. Beyond it, the city, life and love, how individual their futures. More vital than my readings, yet, of my small self. A ship crossing in a circle has not lost its way. As I on the gentle field blinded now with pain. The compound would mean to be divine, so light the soul, coating the majesty of hope in its own worldly circle. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 68. It is interesting so late to have put it together. A thing from a poetry absent from the past, which has come not to the end, but which has just started. A child seems ever unfortunate presented with too much, who wants none of the selfishness of any hatred for beauty. The hill is forgotten with love, and will have war one day. Again starring the reality of some system for more poetry. I temporarily pace it, and include myself in its play. The problem is home since to be a poet of the day, trailing way beyond the truth of the age of this rare morning, of which I have been thinking much, first with enough vanity, as can predict some strength, and then with a great trouble. For the lateness to sort through has stopped, as well as my playing in the catastrophe of its game. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 69. They come to meetings lost, those wayward woeful birds. To the ends of their feathers they have sung for some setting. Wandering the green out, hope once had its tail. On their worldly journeying. More grass in their kingdom. The sun, too, dawning, reading the last of the blackness. Those vintage birds pounding the weeds. What the city owes them is more than man, but light. Foot and tail quiet, tear after bitter tear, daily a child thinks. There are great ideas all the way outside of her own minding want for light which stands tip-top. But I can hardly see them, for the want of my problem which I protest. Is that blown shalom, my hair downwards by the dust's side. Time is at the base of anything, and ideas are uneasy to seek. When pain stages its society this questionable dawn. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 70. A soul is as light as this world in which her lady lives. And I am an old believer not to cut off my father's honor. For each man and all pay poorly for the light we have. When by all truths between us, we wonder what to say. As every aching fool within their bosom divine dreams in a milk much too low for any brunt light to wander. As the angels do, already on their great way, who are not less than loving subjects this night for some happiness named. If done well, these candles have together an interesting luck. And I can tell for sure that from my chair, a childlike meaning may as a fountain forget all our madness in its silver noise. Forget the hundreds of toils I read between ourselves and those divine. And love the wholesomeness of the kind good memory, which, when I practice reading, has been old and faithful in time. Angel Penelope with me. Sonnet 71. Some need fire for art, for poetry, for matter. That this freshness have wisdom enough to devise. The spirit who thinks it day in a dervish of light. A superfluous note has been met in a marginal soul's life. Commanding now when its essence and flame. And amused with the world anew letting stand upon its head. Every opposite against it in its prayers stain. Yet, the handsome weather is missed thus, and the envy of its housed light which plays me for the dust, seems to be wholly loved whenever I'm in attendance at the gates of life. Let come this better May, a time when the day's own window would come back to reason in its gusts by my home. And if life seems false by this verse which I have just read, then too much time has been spent upon my reading. Angel Kabbalah with me. Sonnet 72. The pain reveals a poetry wandering and roving through the kingdom gracefully, where art has its region. Nothing aches me more than to think of the death of love. The sad new memories in silence once of majestic great times. She borrows them from the start mainly to restore some memory. A lady means to be young, if not when with me, then when painting. On the weepy mountain in a castle, for sad tales I am sick. Stars were our night lights, and some made them wasteful. They stood in sorrow peering lost in the morning. And life misses days joining hearts to each man. The youthful time now, for some, is a river of bitter envy. Cupping new sorrows, set, making me wish that I had more hope in that scene, to show me none poor. In that stillness of sound at the monument's wing. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 73. The youth with love in her breast, done with winter. On the whole is better, the world seems ahead of itself. And here a life is fathered and compounded all by a thought. It is time to read today, to man the youth in me. And to have a duty to follow the sky's own pouring, and live out of that time only. Which caps itself downward to my heart in a tale of light. Less has been given to scholarship, but there is more to have for its whole stain done. As with life, a few times, I have given this mountain a voice. Which did frame the scholarly world I man. To where I'll move myself by deeds when having nothing more to do. However superfluous they may be or reasonably best for now. My hope must take from its ancient deepness the knowledge held in remembrance. That youth flowers even when people forget the power of love. Even when their appreciation is not for a book or that some lilies even have flowered. Angel Penelope with me. Sonnet 74. When life turns inward it strives as any heart. Whose soul must ship through the wholeness it seeks. To play in the sky's foam, my first thoughts. From their window of solitude, and for the boundless lilies. In the grassy field on this date, they have been known. With hope enough I would lift my life to its purpose. To think with my heart what is missed by the world. The utmost monument ahead of my turn and tail. And looking not as rare as any full sky. About which tradition is sure, which summons the birds. To color it more by touching its great heaven. I remember that there is time yet to borrow. Thoughts from my want which, punishing my soul this day. Parts yet, oh when it is right to read with the sensibility to see into me now. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 75. My face is long also, my interest is up. When fathers are against fathering, when they speak with just power. That pleasures are in those hands who confiscate their part to please. I cannot rest until some truest bond is formulated. Since, between the hills, every fruit of theirs has come at length to be barer than the beautiful clovers where their houses once stood. Those men get honey, and on the horses in the wind. Each mind has its grounds, white, golden, black so far. For the pouring and descending waves of poetry coming up from the dead. A mind is on top of love, creating another light, by which it writes or leaves in falling, as the dotard day. Touching still the sky, striving above this very sea, whose darkness pierces its gold. Helen also once needed to laugh and love, both sacred to the existence of authors. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 76. My father's soul is on its wing, leaving the darkness to its going, pounding this time for more truth. For one final thought in the present, a majestic thought. Such stillness at the monument seems right for me. When family pounds home my journey to be a man at the window who has been his own, who now comes to the now again from the deeds of the soul. Society ever comes to end as it is done striving there. The grass coming up from labor, or a tree coming down. The window's boundless world any scholar can see. To the child there arises from having read over time the skill to read each subject together. This child could be done if her life itself, in practice, was not read falsely when forgotten by love. Angel Kabbalah with me. Sonnet 77. Now the sky pains my play, ever so low. The proof of our youth held us capable of rarities. Of those all-white equalities of light, reminders of where we once were. Where much is fathered of vanities upon which we ever depend. The divine must seem new to us, we poor sheep. Heading through the morning's fullness to its school and life. Our thoughts and deeds become barren of what we see. On our marginal faces, where into prettiness they pound. Though, seeking to last, a fancy is now here where life is. The function of sadness is to get beyond pain. It is time for my heart to be lighter, and see that lasting fullness of your angelic visage. And while the poems are fans of your beauty and fairness, for new life, all else in a language of better love, the world stands here to refund you of that deep sickness. Of the deep sky, your grade forever, your home and benefit. Angel ora ora Tiferito with me. Sonnet 78. The web stars for philosophy cry out, reminding me dully that my pleasure's been cut. Their revenging letters never problematic are read, since in poor neutrality swiftly translated they become. And their rush upon thou calls when mortality itself errs, with the power which it to clear the world could learn, of its signature happiness, and to its bitterness be, as the soldier on a stage where fortunes are stolen. Yet, forgotten those pains of Virgil's own zone have been. Their arguments? Burned up. You're on top of your dance. While in the canker of now, all still as well is loved. As by the fall through the window you learn. Of a day swept over us thus, work, man. And the deeply draft pitch of a woman. Angel Kabbalah with me. Sonnet 79. This the year made when you of famine dream. In your all-genius terrible visions. Could any do better than to dream? And be psychic so far just thinking about nature? How lasting at the top, you and yours. With old writings on the beginning of everything. How they life free up for a cause to war. The tree's way, the end of a yes. Those very books no school ever should have. What is thus a highness? But I for any happiness at sunset won't ask. Or for a war of more private romance. Since what beauty beyond these hot windows does, where I best watch out, is to have time to sin. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 80. By this merry work, the night time I love. The grass over its grave empire rolls. A better eye for finality to fear not opening seeks. The happiness of the weather much new sadness brings. For darkness, the city's fate one heart watches. Badness, its voyage all done, to winter comes. At school, the morning its kingdom to scar has need. And an useless fellow this weird world finds. To know how a thing by the wool is ranked. For the reason a true fool must heal. By those tales of enough thus we read. And these hills enough give to wipe the heart. Of its forgotten news, which traditional scholarship less finds as we of the darkness and the way patient have thought. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 81. A poor thought for a season done. The whole instruction with all the self meets. Waters the day and time pass as birds always flowing. The beach, its sounds, and its greatness light. For the good sleep of the farther off woods. A beauty comes, as the interests of tomorrow do. Gifts blessings give, a tale a call takes. On the beautiful air boundless feet lift. The rainbow being sublime is red. Its flight the light rides, as this gorgeous baby season. Now the shore debris faces to relinquish its bitter call. Birds the dust clouds create, come and hover. The power bright shines now the spirit in sunset feathers. When up it came it was a feat, now down, another day's gains. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 82. Scholar of beauty and old thoughts. You, like a moth from the month all to leave must give. Every mind your vital darkness reaches. And to the language of the face the sea more peace adds. In hopeful finality the sky in pleasure stains. Life at the rock a scholar has but summoned. Who taller than ever all our questions there finds. These living matters errors of forgotten tales. A star to the window of the soul is not placed. It to reveal all must forget that its own thoughts are up. A notion the place for us to be there gives. Whose webbing with sad peace shall become. Thus a place of this life to marry as the truth comes out. As air comes catastrophic over its zone. Angel Jaffa with me. Sonnet 83. You the best of your mind read and conquer. For you to this date speak nothing against time. The dawn to you mightily its light leaves. The symbol of your youth from that cabinet of sky. Whose wind on the green world places. Victory you have found remembering those mechanisms. With the wisdom you know and are free to answer. The love eternal, hero, teach. How the frame upon us crossed out, and that thou merciful are. To hear the wish of our prayers among. Reality and beyond every resemblance of the whole. Our right to repose from our terrible ache. For any intimation of peace, ever crying. Oh, how meager it is distinguishing between vanities. Angel Diana with me. Sonnet 84. It is a joy to be you, just to list. That you know where you go when nourished by dreaming. So you come to use for the first time. Ever turning your time into gardening. The baby day has won and the night is over. Things on the boundless ground bloom. The chant of the leaves, wilting shapes. Road blossoms, and caps of the world. Which by the autumn's shoot when caving into fall. The fill of the tree's imagination shall stop. And all else of which nothing is sure. Of which months you have lost, the fees of being young. Somewhere your kindness too would lose those gifts. And far away would be those pleasures if you really had no soul. Angel grouchy with me. Sonnet 85. You are the infinite Hercules, your Iodine no omega hath. Yes, it is not what people think. There's reason for you to honor us, as we all like it. Much in the sea, you shall lap it 2 more times. A peaceful fire, very much light. The sunshine on the heavy monument, but miracles annoy you. While in the party of paradise, in Noah's or Columbus's, a face appears, Father has gone to war. On the sky's skin, Father's belt. Your mind is mocked and your genius has been emptied. In order to practice the truth, and still the room is ending. You hope to do what you can, let us sigh. Why the parsley, here you are not. And being farther out avails nothing. To be fortunate is so hard. Angel Shnuna with me. Sonnet 86. The approaching hum of the big word. The hum of humans, blessed and blissful. With enough vitality, greater being older. With wisdom in the end ever to this date. There's a dwarf upon your shoulders to volley your soul. And you'll leave by dancing away to those parties in paradise. Boundless to count, who introduce the sun. En route to school over the dusty ground. Over the long tide to the ship in the grass. By the wooded areas, picking out some leaves. Whose meaning is done, whose light has slipped away. As if by tipping over the lemonade with unstable hands. You sing questionably, too distant, such for me. But you shall connect again to be sure. Pet the pony. Angel Jaffa with me. Sonnet 87. To my soul the majesty of Ulysses teach. That parcel of labor to be nourished, to come. To know the fury when going over. Something for later which I of plucking thought. From the world thought of the sweet sun. Its late light on the ice on the trees. And as it left loved, the yards, divided. The walls by some woods, split up. As the beach heavens as to this absent individual. Who defending himself from his poor pains seeks. Forced, yes, from this night time to seek. A few hands who to play want. Who by their rare finds that my old headache. And my own vanity of some words I needed could descend. Angel Marilyn with me. Sonnet 88. I the too old daffodil only evade. Yet children close come, their mighty voices. Presenting the names of their thoughts that this is rare. And so I'll cope with the divine stage at the world's window. With all of its words and pains so that my now may start. And humble its traveler from some heavenly womb. Inside, my happiness is lost to nature, which reads me. My name is all fibered and pounded by time's repetitions. The shadows of the first trees are rudely placed upon the green. Father a beautiful book commands, and at the doleful window. All is presented itching to be made into those things. So this was why this year thus had to be. Now the pains are present too with nature. To cope again this time, I my evasions shall repeat. Angel Jennifer with me. Sonnet 89. Falling less through time were those serious years. Which characterized the most of the age. The remarkable strong tint of the garden. Or that of the large room, whose exact influence is an ancient invention other than this rich landscape. Speech has an earliness for these large places. Influenced by the varieties of labors of the wilderness. Others will dispute what beliefs you have sacrificed. In order to describe the definition of your years at work. Confirming the freedom for your time in attendance. Of being by some sad sentences positioned in banishment. Of that successful school system going famously forward. To know the disposition of the whole on behalf of the consideration. To report the country and its great location. So again the session is social, and upon your alleged understanding. From a lifetime of learning you attempt to comment. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 90. The thought for passion, for good, catches. Soul to soul who into its trap come. Moral miracles of wisdom to us compound. The memories of heaven in the hands of verses. To find the sky, the foresight to us was left. Who the tale forgot for more goodness. The writings, with a feat of light, contrast. Of how today shall be, to a rare dare. On a tree pounds its cosmic off-white. To the truthful harmonies no nation would drum against and ruin since from the beginning of love. With new scholarship comes, a new dance. Of light never ending to folk, who do know how to stop. Is made with any friend from the divine for those who are left. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 91. I'll conquer the grief of a memorable poem. Near the heaven of the stars, a man on top of a pyramid. And I know to do it, to repair myself by this air. As flowers which come up, to be sensible too I strive. Fairest lovers, counting the sides. To win your rest after wandering this meadow. No mediocrity rising there nor flashing rushed. You are beacons to your children who long to be proud of you. And the broken window has a beauty and a sadness. To flip over and commit to space its details. Lower than their ends for some sort of quick confidence. Mistaken by its flaws, or just its little flaw. Which was a good start to an imprecise beauty. To be ordinate, plump, short and ordinary. Angel Penelope with me. Sonnet 92. The air is called Hoover by us, hovering Hoover. Hoover is our name for the air, the what of the air. Through the place of the air, Eureka, hole in one again. Angels always win, angels beat CEOs. The boss which Hopi thinks bad, is her golf club. But Hoover is Hopi's other spiritual golf club, its use is for her with angels to play spiritual golf, it is a vacuum. Consider as the name of a name, what's the use of the view? Which is the meaning of the sky? The sky is called the view. The sky is the view is the sky, we say. For behavior the view functions, sky or sky-minded. Minded of that gargoyle on the rooftop. Meaning as the name of it, the sky's meaning. Is the between of all betweens, the symbol for betweenness. Angel Thrickbit, Hopi, with me. Sonnet 93. There in same places our desires exist. Thus steal you them more from the rolling mist. And work your sadness through with newer maids. If that you all envy the tree limb shades. Keep you for worth the happiness to knows. Of this good atmosphere a serpent goes. So few of us to liberty will know. Since these who conquer with the same shall live. And waits the landscape underneath the snow. Amongst the soul the land which many love. Makes all to us who loaf a place to thrive. That one more luxury the day does seem. As not to wish to become what we list. Bring out the boundless wisdoms to our wist. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 94. Honors the nonsense the wisdom. Out of a halo which each faces. Destroys the boredom the talking. But to silence the wisdom to me imparts. Steals the boundless storm away. Smiles on the water the bridge. Enable the beauty and life the test. Of this to which my tikva follows. At least the soul for goodness lives. Skyward trees shadows the year's date. The lines over the farm grass roll. Home and place to be darkened happen. Upon us a lasting time to speak brings. What and when and for the making last. Angel grouchy with me. Sonnet 95. I skyward honors make. And, with dreams, stare back. To what has and saddens on the plain. Here time fancies the landscape. But to blink at the waiting shore. With reasons gives me into its silver. A cloud rests from its flight. Where shadows now bless the wall. The parts of its shield are crushed. By the trolls and their teams. Yet, to me bloom new flowers. Who never hunt imperfectly for the supply. Out of their rude beds bearing confession. As, under my own, lives our kingdom. Angel aura with me. Sonnet 96. Loves one so much against some errors to put. Keys to locks rather than to their simple shadows. Chanting, he was a silly man thus revealing all. Loving more than life and trusting. But catch not those errors, if then I'd be so idle. Dries up me or the flavor, catching thus. When resting with, of error the shadowy marches. Still give and there is trouble growing. Fitting now for the pen to drop. To light I am that worker making. Hunt, I do, the ear that hears. To host the party I shall dance and sing. Diverting what these unhappier thoughts expose. Forgot by those when with their stubborn saddening. Angel grouchy with me. Sonnet 97. Shadowing the rain would seek to ruin. Drops to light before a rainbow appears. The passing rain to dance the sky to its ends. Learning to fly again, teams wing their way. To use each other for support pacing. To put application to a water practical. Needing the land's quiet, to clear it with replies. Mentioning in thunderous booms to play. To catch and to expose whatever the daylight stole once. Directly to meet the country the storm turns. And gives to sound the custom hiss and crash. Its own to prize steadily as air commands. Washing the land to look its best. Coming to hurt a wounded heart with what it brings. Angel Teresa with me. Sonnet 98. I asked of the bright world with all its strangers. Met when out wandering for peace and it seemed. Questing nothing but some tranquility of mind. Welcomed in the light and I heard. What all I missed and all I saw. To affect my mood, this location. Past as well as my difficulty of any acquainting. Fit here by the gate under a sprawling tree. Attending the land which the afternoon had lit. To mean it was a mild day, and had clouded. Taken up its crowd upon the blue and went by. Answering my angel to stay put a while. Measured I the time, the breezes dropped. To say they understood, then I departed. Angel Penelope with me. Sonnet 99. It is already good to be a machine. The first out dancing with wisdom on time. It's your soul's business, that wisdom now victorious. Which came to build upon its gifts for your pleasure. In the perfect case, you're up for sweets. Putting down the time to where those clumps go. For those best harmonies your pointer knows. So very early into battle, dealing it out with steel. Then the hail is done when you heard the wind wetten. Over the visual flat, you watched it fly. Over the sand outside, it's all small limbic. If you buy into those lies, murmuring all the time. You'll refund your treasure and again will be made dust. To wait under your monument of your spirit's own laws. Angel Shnuna with me. Sonnet 100. Call it your imagination, with time to produce those spiritual hours from vital love, and programmed to dance after a couple of kisses. Then to improvise forever, as over all a knowledge shall win. An open pot, the spider's fruit, the autumn's leaf, to what my thoughts refer. The ways with some tool of another's original tale. Like farm work, where foreign children, and the boat workers with strange phantoms. On a picnic outside, a team, humanity. What the group becomes, wanting it done well, but lowering it when covering up their love. Resulting in a wisdom lost, so bitter to the bone. Made to destruct in a falling out of feelings. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 101. What is this gleam over us? Which does not go there, something of a new now. All day, all night, of each their beauty was had. Never are they foes but to each they are floating fellows. One at a time above nature, a sunny victory for a darkness of peace. And a time for thus over these fields of things. Where pleasing trees ever facing. The time with love and the starry field. Work up for its let go every day. And like a poor father whose vision is going away. Now looking at nothing, yet not over commanding. Who went and served his only lady to be worth her love. Striving to read, running back here. Whispering for that gleam over us to remain there. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 102. Let us to bed, the night into its cold leaps. There is our resolution, and the crowd away from us gets. And laboring, the evening with its featured split. Comes idle for our own idleness and to cool. And it esteems that critical work which our day had witnessed. Missing none of our way as we did wait. More than a legacy, its atmosphere shows. Most of the time, in the day building up. To gleam, today perpetually in victorious light. Chosen for some battle honoring our visions and has won. So as they, day and night are neither arguing, with the other each agrees. I think by that peace the night hopes to continue. Charming again the day into its fresh return. Which drives with chariot of fire unwasted burn. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 1. Its trip is stiff, the sky at night time slams. And freedom dozes off in ancient solitude. Grandma's color books are problems, and at home is rude. The Browning swing, the sunshine's trip rams. The lake and bush into weekend heat. The puddle and the penny are so crazy to forget. Hungering for cheers, their idle local set. Shall bridge one line to thresh us off its comforting seat. Friends, and marvels, cops, are energetic, at play. Right for the beauty of that homework outside. The nerve of toys, the easing of my slack and slide. And romance sleeps in luxury, rooming for the day. Mirror, rush to know me, how at dinner I'm dressed. For that possible music and my break dance best. Angel Amy with me. Sonnet 2. On trails, the pledge of paradise, we love it at its peak. On happy picnics curbed, so trails a class. In quiet of the richness of the glassy demoed pass. 4 changes to the order of the yellow city's week. A job for families later which the summer shall perform. Its knowing drizzles falling softly on a grange. For yet again our eyes for summer become thick and strange. Possess a water, victory, in youthful clean and storm. The calm uncertain finish of its bravest work out. At home to show off as the class by knowing tried. Ideas to liberate from rock because it's warm outside. To play for rides, for strangers so these noisy members shout. The sunlight on my carpet falls yet speech becometh dark. Prepares the echo of its ways to love all with its bark. Angel Kelly with me. Sonnet 3. Our night is lingering, illustrating nothingness. We learn to sit traditional, and love the sky above. Which towards the future and in readiness our very love. Will trouble, sorry, smothered, elegant of dustiness. And homeward, will accept the final pathway to our end. With tournaments and sentiments to learn so to surround. And guide our flight to sights we have commercially not found. As pains produce discoveries so that our depths can mend. With every gift of lateness we shall catch utopian. There's money in an envelope, the hallmark has been done. Success again to every age, surprising songs for none. But silence dominates our critical regrets again. They're quaint, so work for purpose, love a chore. The summer's usual urge would lack barometers to soar. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 4. With gloom, collect authority and calculate an awe. The holidays have passed by, the insults chill. To generate, discover what a fire's bulk will. Behind it pull apart that stupid tag now with a claw. And I ascend by fumbling, my questions never fade. The argument of heaven, like the visit of a dawn. In graying loose its purpose made complexity to yawn. In complex weathers selling what some hobby man had made. And for another space, and for my spin and drift of rest. I'm lately to possess it of this fairy tale scene. Maturity is wasted when my giggle breaks green. To treat the traveler with his sadder glories to the test. And learn again excitement of the new, and so to play. Ascend and smush it thus to fumble over for my ray. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 5. The neighborhood commands a start, and nature calls me out. Inventions of RT.V.S thus shall push the morning on. Make fantasies of dining, in assemblies on the lawn. The care around to please me for my scholarship or doubt. I'll mold events and set upon that ocean of my joy. To judge another war upon my boredom's own divine. The ancient ocean's timeless backyard grumbling of shine. Its washcloth rings the cold to opportunities, ahoy! A laboratory dust cloud at our school time that we make. To celebrate the stillness in the afternoon, a fail. A myth or contest rides to see our strongest turning pale. The whimsy of this period, a class surprised, a snake. Of relative receptions which we learn again, to spend. As wasteful as a sunset, of its ancient shame, the end. Angel Tov Tov Shalom with me. Sonnet 6. By clearing up, in finish of its space. The moon sat in the evening all alone. The sky, where ordinary spaces shone. Did ask what purpose had that waiting face? The smiling moon thought valuable its fun. The stars at night instructed their own test. That now the moon in unprepared best. Should show them what the good champ must have won. Since it was glad, they organized a break. And asked the sun to focus on its chore. That work of light by love perfect them more. So, moon, give way, but tiny offense take. The moon's mute voyage back to nonsense goes. Discovers sunlight, drops where goodness knows. Angel Teresa with me. Sonnet 7. Far off the desert, over to the shore. I dedicate myself to darkness now. I've lost the land, or into trespass show. Like day, it's medicine for one day more. The stream we're in, of a community. The day outside and water friends become. A beauty to the king, presenting some. They dedicate for built-up unity. Inside a muggy morning it is wrong. To bend to waters, praying that they rest. What play has done that of its fiery best? To know, through love, a payment for its song? The quietness which crosses over lines. Should like a business be so with its signs. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 8. Some questions cross us about charity. What is the truth of being for oneself? What is the soul, and what becomes its shelf? And how so universal is its rarity? That, pairing with another, has some room. To live itself with universal flow. Out from existence from itself and show. The punishment it suffers from that doom. Which keeps it to its own when being mean. The station of our marriage to this world. For now must be resolved not to be hurled. Like music through the galaxy unseen. But for another and itself must stand. To move as if it were on better land. Angel Diana with me. Sonnet 9. My ordinary chant has no design. Yet lonesome essences will grow wise still. When triumphs of our moments come to fill. By wandering with eyes some airy line. There, heaviness of architectures, days. They wounding by their majesty of lights. Come heavenly from multitudes of nights. Which mountains in our knowledge seek to raise. Those mountains are what lead us to the sky. From there, dear friend, the colors change to blue. Who would go there with me to dare its hue? Before the night arrives and comes as high? Ah, if a pad of air could higher bring our bodies, but with sadness drops each wing. Angel Ora Ora Tiferito with me. Sonnet 10. The guided risk to feel more out of life. To learn its calculations and proven design. the good crunch of the peace of day, and its warm glory have called into my thoughts my happier friend and the celebrated newness. My sweet blackout is soft with certainty, the texture of darkness, and I love its grey. My opportunity to hush now and be safe on the grass comes after a little walk upon the wonderful dirt. The wet work will be changed by loss, as discovery is in suspense, or yet is temporarily allowed. Something I'm anxious to try in my gifted sadness. But the search is spent, I'm detained from the way back, and my assistance fades in a shred of quiet. Angel Diana with me. Sonnet 11. I feel ineloquent compared to then, that time of being healed by answering best. I linger now in my descent and rest, though once a grace I mastered of my heaven. Once nature was a lasting whisper thick, so gentle, unforgotten, as I was. I knew of mirth exacted from the buzz of gorgeous images, which was no trick. A wakeful fury I had felt of earth. The heights of fruits I knew on every tree. Deliberation heaven was for me. That match lead me to my own fruitful birth, whereof salvation then secure of peace. I thought life had so centered its release. Angel Kabbalah with me. Sonnet 12. He battles all creation with a boast. Our eyes bend downward sanctified and cast their gloom. He utters boldly to the last, to entertain unfairly to his most. Yet, we'll read blissfully what's in the hand, as thoughts pursue their dwelling in the day. For us no more his outcries rage away. We'll grow good by the knowledge of our band. That band excels the cosmos without fear of eyes bent down to sanctify a foe, who pledges quick what each of us all know, who chooses freely what he wants to hear. But, some will judge in peace each life of old, and help design ours fruitfully, we're told. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 13. Friends, friends, human-grown UPS. Ancient workers for the truths of the day, who celebrate light, another light. We fancy the work which this day has won. Let us bear the emptying of its hands, so that that shine of old may comfort us with hope, and sweep its deep power over our land, or coming from the reins of our freedom to hold on in one weight, for the light to the mind, to be decorated with deeds, those heights with feelings. As a kingdom rises out from the emptying sea, so sitting all day in its empire, it is everything. The household joy daring human beings, to have power as friends over all things fair. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 14. The artist creates with his hands more newness, and that product takes time and great efforts. He loves finding ways to say things, and those words speak for his finer tongue. The words are his thoughts on many beauties around, beauties which eat upon life itself. As life loses its stability from many changes, as those changes pick up, increasing daily, and the changes are felt and are processed, such changes help him and us to see better. Many things seen unfold to him in his speech, and encourage him to take notice of them, while he angers not in the observing of his place, which falls upon him like the rain. Angel Elaine with me. 1. What munch of stars and tears are made for love? Who topped your own thought to build a grave? Herbs flaming more, know your butt will cave. Cock a beauty everywhere for oldest deals above. Shut down the miracles, the regions are corrupt. You'll find yourself, little Frosty, the healthy black pen. To die, bat an eye, your boat's late win. Leaders come so damn close but they'll erupt. Those late leaves of all these worlds between us. Noses have a doom of problems, better cast a forward to farewell, and the thorn presented last. As man-machines are able for the comic dirt of thus. The sun with coming poise, and all again for Eve. Swear so, America, stall us all for foes who grieve. Angel Elaine with me. 2. The devil is too much for a love meaning. The earliest gloom hops across the range. Fool a deal for the lady. Hack or arrange. Beaver's chop, chief, coach and genie. A wind-up lover yes for eternity. Doggy little, bedlamites of men. The wholesome war and world attacked then. A lead word, animals are prettier than me. Chill for time, now's own carcass, a joy. The poetry crowded, why? 'Tis for a piece. ministering nothing in the end but paradise. That battle for your care, to read all, boy. Take the wisdom from forever singled purses. Forgetting pretty poor dawn and ashy verses. Angel Valerie with me. 3. Just one toot of the celestial's ageless noise would soothe me. Mephistopheles, the muse, has for this thing yet only those autumn birds in their woodpile home. There. Angel ora ora Tiferito with me. Sonnet 5. Now nature has time to be the trees. The sea's lament the night possesses. A true pleasure could represent beauty. In the dust and gloom or through humans thither. Shown through the kingdom for a wintry language. Needing cloth-formed personalities to be saved and divine like some book place. Whose living halls, now replaced with drink. A loss made by the health of the night. And the world trusted, still, now flowers. Over the stage enough where the light went far. Whose shine is buried in the water's plate. Stealing away like the deer for more freedom. The trees freely built by the sunlight. Angel Bertha with me. Sonnet 6. That desire to be worshipped divinely by songs. In your own clothes, in the sea's war after war. A slave saved only by victorious imagery. Lowly chilling, being of dirt or of happiness. Which is so fruit close, not star afar. The theatre calleth, it faces the night. The rosy sunset is now detained below. With damsels' blushes on the world's decline. A teary rose, its yellowish visit sent away. It is necessary to be saved in the cream of creation. Heavenly fowl complain to our memories. Scarce a community are those autumn planets. Their anonymous fabric between the ducking stars. And the teeth of the serpent failing to bite. Angel ora ora Tiferito with me. Sonnet 7. The American television has only to play. Great and large, and then, now, it is enough. As one whole remembrance of regret. And the moon and the clock replace the countryside. With celestial ideas, and with victory won. Beyond the roses growing and patches of grass. Or in the tint of the underworld, here outgrown. Night more is wandering, and its poor spirit. Through the door is drawn beyond the roses to everywhere. And a paradise opens with the right readiness. It is a case for the wetness outside raining. And I remember waiting for it, knowing, apprehending. My best options for wandering the same place. Like a bird of energy on another summer evening. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 8. The planets are showing, easy diamonds flicker. All the outdoors on the plains deepens into ditches. An ocean around an island agrees to send its rush to life, a time-watched life. The jewels of suns rewarded ever to peace. Together they shine all day with letters of air. And better letters, all dark, obscuring. In the holes of clouds, over grass, and over hills. The riches with today are notes not yet wanted. Better diamonds which flicker at the earth. The celestial fold, the trains toward yonder. Which glimmer beyond the air where the area lets out. Its collected yards, the sky and the deal. Where sticks around the silence of its air and seal. Angel Lisbeth with me. Sonnet 9. About the dragon, the kill-to-do cast. Mommy owes them pity, for its anger as of late. Has stepped here for who turned into its gate. There are trees like puffs of pussycats who last. In America, they stand and use their masks. And waste their power, their shillings will not reach. Towards beaches being, thus to hug the beach. For salutations of their wills and love guise tasks. A princess is so sure, her breathy ways. Turn to those dandelions or merry nursery schools. Or sparky things, so sharp for gold or fools. Who break for exit like roosters' yodeled phrase. In melodies, in sways of sands, she hurried and was sung. Which resummed her waltzing ever, since she's young. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 10. Princess exited. Her fees amassed. Magnetic doors and willows, bottom brightness. A poor youth has been dragged in its own whiteness. The young do matter, one sole fingers past. A puffy crab whose mission is for France. A pitiful dandelion, which mom won there. The paradigms made of kitty cat hair. Tomorrow's vacation in a love crab's dance. For a sparky knowledge, open up a fairytale. Candy's gate is on the seashore's steps. The kingfish crowned rebellious, heavy depths. For merry shillings, rooster's job, a sail. In sounds and sharps, to answer to his queen. In death's waste, how a debt drops mostly clean. Angel Donna with me. Sonnet 11. The sky stretches above with love and gifts. The enriched sun wishes for more patience. Diving to the land with happy maturity. A heavenly thinking flowers on the fence. Shaded deeply that area is flooded. Great possibilities stroll through the yard. Under the shadows the outer wet. Leaves well to bottle up the scene. We have learned to appreciate its seasonal dark. By presenting all of ourselves to the world around us. The floating brightness far off with us walks. In its new wisdom, and with our trusted minds. With just communication, we watch for the night. In the sprouts and patches of our country views. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 12. Now up by a work, close up for power. And trampling one ground, care I for everyone. As returns the sunny morning to an end of its anger. The defeat of the glory of beautiful days failing. Empty, all breathed, our existence for silence. We seek it up, of gaining trees and peace. And behold the bright within cleared limitations. Where I pray my evening to sail in praise fire. And obscure the blank broken, remaining repetitively. In a time circle, the airy way spirit. So beauty, make enough, build wisdom. Trust place to problems, they are desired. Of the truths of people to fill my patience voyage. With secrets of love, sing the existing freedoms of each soul yonder. Angel Elaine with me. Sonnet 13. How will we ape our time? And how will the year pose its shoulder? Mark, apple, where the star has fallen. There the fish goes around and forward to a rare sea. And on that noisy stair the world must sadden. Whose light blows out when I go back. As I widen my part of a western life. As man loves to make up a roof. That the wind knows my wallet is light. Where August puts yellow upon the field. And where the grass knows to build in need. To remember the prize in an elegant paper. And shadow only a father from his search. And quiet that wanderer by fitting again our song. Angel grouchy with me. Sonnet 14. To love yourself is not a question. I'm critically shut down for this odd cure then. Whose better nature is the first to my fall. The beautiful lights compound a shine for all. A vision must come to my eye's own end. That now I am tall, but to wild poetry I bend. Of my capable cup of some finalized words. I'll speak my speech, partly, I hope, to birds. To apologize for the sunlight in the kingdom this time. It's time that the trees and place become my rhyme. My weatherly weight goes on outside. And what a sky! The water monuments glide. I stick to the water's very old figure. This verse seems a dialogue, but the felt ocean's bigger. Angel honey with me. Sonnet 15. The better days are coming, but when? That happy rush with people then. The place I start on each new day. The home, the breakfast in my way. To have a beauty in such light. Where I stay put, the house is bright. And in my stillness I will sit. I know it's good, and make a point of it. I've got my books, and I've got my music. Once recorded keeps me from being less sick. Myself from anger, loss, or pain. If happiness is vain, then I'll be vain. And if it takes a heart to care. I want my heart to be right there. Angel Teresa with me. Sonnet 16. The light is near, its sack abides. A wind now paces over time's own rides. Through graying heaven's noise it sags. A gentle music transports airy lags. While newer prizes and selections be. Above the ranks of many birds to see. From out the space of doors, a top light comes. Over lovely mists which float, a mountain's growing sums. The gathered season, and a stringed line. The darkest corridors again have time. By nature weathered lawns where willows bend. Their powerful seeds were watered on that needed land. By now absent people whose mimicked lack. The early begun night, its time, shall back. Angel ora ora Tiferito with me. Sonnet 17. A beautiful rain wets my arms. And drop by drop falls, but neither harms. Our beautiful sky is named a heaven. which compared to earth, must seem so even. And, filled with clouds, has been too strong. The time has come for rain, but not for wrong. Though with the many weathers on a walk, I see and feel, inspiring talk. The mighty storm now thunder booms. I like the action, others think of dooms. As long as I am safe within a home, and as long as friends and others to theirs come. Ah, being home in the storm with the lights on, still glowing warm while wets the lawn. Angel Teresa with me. Sonnet 18. You must follow the song along your first road. The trees have traveled together with the lake's load. They sweat your plan unto tomorrow's climax. With fiery speed as works nice your axe. When day beckons you at the pile which you sever, elsewhere left, and ruled by much weather. The blue ends of a waterfall bring together the scene, to bug you in your bag, and make a ghost-like screen, that fixes the insults paid by your memory next, of the shot-out colors and its crushed-up text. The action of that watered film plays homeward your soul, like one devotee of one special, dear goal. From the sky the falling drops check up on your handsome crew, as you taste something possibly good of the air inside you. Angel Thrickbut with me. Sonnet 19. That high note goes back up there forever. A sooniness, and something like a fever. At this address some mean to do it now. With a function once, with a why and a how. That you were of their society too, you had your pass. Over the hay, the withered plants and grass. Until tomorrow with its causes comes. You know it seems to me it drums. I hope that's right, as it's of elementary worth. A vision which hopefully rocks back and forth. Which today, still in continuance, as if it could ever stop. When the light hits the wall and such sun pop, something like a mess of a flood occurs. And there is that news of the day it blurs. Angel Shay with me. Sonnet 20. With the power to dance, I ignore the sky. I wonder about the badness, now back, and why. In the dropped end fate of my hope. To know more gentleness, with which I believe I'll cope. I'm blinded by the language of my side setting. Of environmental wishes early tomorrow is getting its watery breeze, while the next serious day. The easy yes is on position of my way. And I, like the clouds, wait, those highest elements. With their sized up definitions, with my great judged sense. The other rocks around are an inconclusive team. As they mask their fun, I see it right that they dream. Their corrected scene slides into complexity. There are great motions, and alone, some flexity. Angel Yaffa with me. Sonnet 21. 1 week of personality, of man, forgets. We rush to think of what had made us watch. Those sea souls, who were kissed by seas, did catch a sunray, worshipped, winter's blueness lets us still restore their tales with tears to mend. 4 tribes unknown, whose deaths had buried them. Which highest ruling falling storms made dim. Push heaven, threshold, and divinely send us from the sadness, prisoned, fights and things. While froths for pilgrims, praised by winners high, of your secured world after sailing by, become as bards of images of springs, of houses by the reeds, as flames, sweep poles, to raise up timbers past their dusty holes. Angel Marilyn with me. Finesse.